Look at me. At least look at me when you shoot a bullet through my head. Through my head. Today, on my own podcast, we break down bullets. Hello, my friend. We meet again. Welcome to my own podcast, the only Creed podcast that we know of. My name is Andrew Colin, and with me, as always, is my friend, my co-host, the free to my Willie, Reid Fenlaw. What's up, Reid? Oh, you're shooting me with bullets.
Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah.
That's messed up, dude.
Those were finger guns, but they were loaded.
Yeah, that wasn't a good improv gun, though.
No, but no one's really can see it.
That's true.
You know?
For those listening, a common mistake in improv that I learned early on is when you're mimicking a gun on stage, you're not supposed to point your fingers. You're supposed to act like you're truly holding a gun with your finger curled around the trigger.
Guns and phones, man.
Yeah, people mess up the phone thing a lot too.
They do the pinky and thumb.
Yeah, it looks like you look like an idiot.
Yeah, you look like you're a dumb surfer who's telling him his own brain to hang 10.
As if you weren't looking dumb enough by doing improv in front of people.
Yeah, improv nerds.
I love it.
I love it.
What's going on, dude?
Oh, man, just, back in the saddle, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things are a little less hectic for you right now.
Things are a little less hectic. I'm chill.
That's cool.
Excited to be back in the studio.
Yeah.
Making magic.
Making movie magic.
What's going on with you? Your hair's really long.
Yeah. I'll get it cut one day.
It's super curly.
Maybe I'll just get a man bun again.
No.
I looked really good.
Yeah,
you remember?
Yeah, I do.
It's that stage in between.
Andrew used to have a man bun.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
It was never that long. I have really wavy hair, so it's hard for me to grow a man bun that looks like cool.
Just straighten it.
Every time?
Yeah. I do.
It's not good for your hair.
I owned a flat iron for like 3 years.
Do you flat iron your hair all the time?
In like the late 2000s.
Oh, you must have been so much cooler than you are now.
I was awesome. I had like hair, like the front of my hair was so long I could put it in my mouth.
That's awesome. Grow it again.
And I would flat iron it and like
every day.
Swoop it across. Not every day, because sometimes I'd wear hats. But like,
jeez, that's just a lot of effort.
It really doesn't take that long. It's like you heat up the iron while you're doing other stuff in the bathroom.
Jerking off in the bathroom.
Or you're jerking off in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then it takes like 3 minutes to do. Like, it's not. I don't have a head of hair like a female.
Yeah.
It's just like,
That's true.
But it's just a few like. Just cramp it, crimp it, not crimp it. Clamp it down and slowly move it across your hair, and then it comes out like perfectly straight.
Fair enough. I just feel like I wouldn't want all that heat on my head all the time. I don't know.
You don't have to wear it out with you. You do it for like 3 minutes, and then your hair goes back to a normal temperature. So
I know, but it's just whatever. This is stupid. I don't want to do it.
I'm gonna buy you a flat iron.
I like my wavy hair.
Okay. Well,
I went to that music festival in Redondo Beach last week.
Oh,
Beach Life
Coachella?
Festival.
Oh.
No, not Coachella.
Stagecoach?
No, that's not in Redondo Beach either.
Okay.
But I had won tickets on Super Bowl Sunday a long time ago for one day pass on Friday.
I remember that. I remember telling you about that.
And it ended up being pretty cool. We saw Phantom Planet.
Wow.
Who was pretty cool.
That's pretty dope.
They're the first one we saw on like a smaller stage. They walked like right by us. It was chill.
Do people just lose their shit for the
California?
The OC
song? It was the last song they played, and the energy, like when it came on, was awesome. So everyone's
cool.
like, oh, okay, yeah.
That's cool.
And then we saw, I might get the order wrong, but we saw the Struts, who, if you don't know, you should listen to. They're so much fun. And they like really underappreciated. I feel like their lead singer is maybe one of the best frontmen ever right now.
Wow.
He's just like an insane vocalist. And if I had to describe him, he's Mick Jagger mixed with Austin Powers. It's the perfect description.
Like looks wise or like
everything wise?
Just
like his demeanor. Yeah, his demeanor is very Mick Jaggery because he does like the hand thing and wiggles and waggles around the stage. But his voice sounds like Austin Powers. And at one point he was like, if you know the lyrics to this one, sing it, baby.
No, he didn't.
He does. He does. At one point he was like, sing it, bitch. He's amazing. And he's got an insane voice. And their guitarist is great too. And then after that, we saw Aloe Black was there. He was cool. He's a really great vocalist as well. And then we saw OAR a little bit, but I kind of had to like do some work stuff when they were on, so I missed a little bit of it. Then I saw
disrespecting the art there.
I know. I walked away.
Wow.
I walked away.
Just as bad.
Then we saw Train. I think I'm free.
That's cool.
Train was cool. They did a lot of covers.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But okay, sorry. It's funny you say that. I like 2 days ago, just in my like search explore algorithm, I saw some reel about Train. Uh-huh. I did not know, because people kind of make fun of Train.
Yeah, they're a little goofy.
Yeah.
The guy's hair is really goofy.
But the what was the Drops of Jupiter?
Yeah.
Their huge song.
Yeah.
Like, people make fun of that. I had no idea that it was about Pat Monahan, the lead singer. Mm-hmm. It's about his mom that died.
Yeah. My wife just showed me that reel.
And like his perceived vision of like her kind of journey and like the afterlife.
Yeah,
and,
it's
like,
cool.
Exploring and stuff. I'm like, I can't make fun of that song anymore.
No, I mean, I think they maybe closed with that song and it was fucking great. But they had a lot of other songs I forgot are by them, like Calling All You Angels. I think they opened with that.
Did you say angels?
Angels. Calling all you
really
angels.
Honoring the way they say it in the song.
Yeah, you gotta. And yeah, they were fun. At one point he brought on like his 13-year-old son to sing with him, which was cute, but his son wasn't that great.
Did they sing Meet Virginia?
Yeah, my wife loves that song.
I do too.
Yeah, that was a cool one. They covered Hotel California, which ended up being pretty rad, actually, at the end. And there's just like 3 really drunk women behind us that were having a ball, and that made it really fun, too. When they did, like, what's that name of that? There's that song, not Hey Soul Sister, but another big one.
Drops of Jupiter.
Drive By. When they sang Drive By, they're like, ah! It was really funny. And then, of course, at the end, we saw Lenny Kravitz. And I don't know, the giant headliner at those shows, because everyone like comes together to watch it, can sometimes be a bummer. But Lenny was fucking awesome.
He puts on good shows.
He's a fucking, like, I don't know, who's more of like a like quintessential rock star than Lenny Kravitz right now?
Scott Stapp.
Well, yeah. But Lenny was awesome, and had some newfound appreciation for some songs I wasn't super familiar with. Like, my new favorite is Minister of Rock and Roll. That song is so cool.
Of Lenny's?
Yeah.
You're on a Lenny kick right now?
I'm on a Lenny kick right now.
I love that for you.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a great show, and the weather was great, and it was a cool little festival. I would totally go again. But it was even cooler because we got a ton of free shit, and I didn't have to pay for the tickets.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a little jelly.
Next year, dude.
I haven't been to a live show in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm seeing, should we get to the music? Should we get to the song?
Well, what are you going to say? You're seeing somebody.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
I was saying, okay, I'm seeing the next show. I was actually seeing a show here in June at the Greek, but a show I'm really excited about is in July at Red Rocks. I'm going to Denver.
Oh, nice.
To see Something Corporate, Jack's Mannequin, and Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness.
Oh, cool.
Which, if you're listening and don't know, those 3 bands all have the same lead singer.
Oh, I didn't. Andrew McMahon?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So
maybe I did.
Something Corporate was like his very early, like, they put out an album in like
he's gonna be tired.
02 or 03. I know. But like, that's fucking awesome. Like, he's opening for himself with like different bands.
That's rad.
Like, that is the lineup that night, is those 3 bands.
I've never seen a show at Red Rock, so I'm jealous.
It's awesome.
Are you around next Friday?
Yeah.
You want to see a show with me at the Greek? 7:30. I really want to go.
I have to see.
Okay.
Who is it?
Turnover, and they're playing like one of my favorite albums in their entirety. You'd like it.
I don't even know them.
But my wife can't go, so
we'll see. I'm not your wife.
Okay, I know.
Fuck me.
I'm not. I just want to see the show. Okay. Anyway, Reid, pending our date next week, let's get to the song.
Let's do it. Let's bullet.
We got Bullets here.
Pew pew.
Which is the first song off of Weathered. That's my first fact. Before I tell you more about it, do you have any recollection of this song? Because it was a single, so I thought maybe you're familiar with it to some degree.
I am familiar with it. It's spoiler alert. It wasn't one of my like favorite songs.
He spoiled it.
But being the first song on this album, and being the first album kind of after Creed really blew up, like from 99 to 01. Well, I think this came out in like November of 01, like fall of 01. I just remember like listening to this album and being like pumped that like the first song of the album.
Yeah.
And like the beginning goes so hard once you get past like the talking.
Yeah.
Like when Tremonti comes in, like he's ready to go.
For sure.
He's ready to go.
I think my only real memory of this song, it was one that I know, and I like when it comes on, I'm like, yeah, this one. But I guess I didn't like love it in the past, but I always have like, spoiler alert as well. I do remember the music video to some degree, which we'll talk more about.
Okay. Really weird.
But yeah, I mean, that one's very unique in its way that it's implanted in my brain for that reason, because it's not live action. Let's just say that. Let's talk a little bit about Weathered as a whole first, since it's our first song on the album. But this isn't really a spoiler for anything, I guess, but in Sinner's Creed, when talking about the album title, Scott mentions that Weathered was the perfect title because it's exactly how I was feeling at the time. Weathered, like rusty, worn down, that kind of thing. And he said about this album, more so than last albums, maybe a little bit of indication about what our first song is about, the lyrics were way more autobiographical than before. So
they've always been pretty autobiographical.
I think they have always been about his like himself and his spirituality, but I think what he meant by that was like there's like tangible things this is about in his life, if that makes sense.
Okay. Less about
like actual events.
More about like this one. I mean, at least this song feels like a current thing.
Yeah.
At the time.
Exactly. So like I said, yeah, he's saying he was feeling worn out from success. He was also withdrawing from prednisone.
Prednisone?
Isn't
that like a steroid that makes you all bloated?
I think so.
Why was he taking prednisone?
I don't know. I didn't look into it.
Just recreationally?
I think so.
No, he wasn't. I don't think it's a drug that gets you any sort of high.
I'm withdrawing from Advil and Tums. That aside, they wrote this album over a 3-week period on the deck of Scott's new yacht, which he kept in Daytona. You heard me right.
Why did he buy a yacht?
Why not, bro? That's the first thing you do when you're a millionaire. I remember my first million. I bought a yacht.
Good investment.
So he wrote it. I think it was just him and Tremonti, but he said they just hung out like old friends, writing the album, chilling on the yacht, despite, I think, growing tension between them.
Sexual?
No, like mad stuff.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
That's my bad.
No, you tend to go there.
Yep.
So that's kind of it for the basic facts about Weathered. I mean, we'll obviously dive into more facts when it comes to specific songs, but that's sort of the general feeling of the album and how it was written. So, about Weathered, this is the second single released off the album. So I think you probably knew it was a single.
Yep.
I didn't realize it was a second one. They're like I think the first was My Sacrifice. So they're leading from that banger to this. Scott describes this song as the heaviest, most intense music we've ever written.
Okay.
Yeah. I know you feel that way about What If.
Yeah.
But he's coming in saying something different.
These are very two different songs sonically, though. What If and this. Like, What If is kind of those, like, super heavy riffs. Like, this one's, like, faster. Like,
yeah. But they're still very screamy and head rocky.
Yeah. It's a hard song. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Going off that, Tremonti said that this song exhibits a diversity of their sound. So kind of a departure from a lot of their past tones and style. Okay. I can see that in a way.
I mean, it's kind of a weird, unique song. Like, even starting from the beginning, like the first like 30 or 45 seconds are kind of like scratchy sounds
and that wah-wah
like low kinda, speaking over
that heavy reverb on his voice.
Yeah.
So in regards to reception, Bullets managed to reach number 11 on the Billboard mainstream rock chart and 27 on the modern rock chart.
Really?
Which was obviously lower than, I believe, My Sacrifice reached 1, because that song's a fucking banger, dude.
I don't really remember this song, like, It's like I was in school when this came out in college. Like, I don't really remember hearing this like on the radio or like.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like a radio jam, but I also think it probably gets lost amongst the shuffle of My Sacrifice and One Last Breath.
Agreed. That's why it's surprising that it reached the positions it did on the charts.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good positioning.
Yeah, not bad.
When they were the musical guest in 2001 on SNL, I believe they opened with this song. Obviously, like, they always play 2 songs on SNL. This was one of them. But even more epic, they played it as their opening song in their performance for the Salt Lake City 2002 Winter Olympics opening ceremony.
Hell yeah.
Why didn't I remember that?
Also, I don't either.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Creed was a band that represented the United States
also,
for our openings. That's fucking crazy to think about.
It's also an interesting that they let them play this song.
Bullets.
Like, it's a very just like confrontational, like, oh, you're gonna fuck me over. At least have the decency to do it the right way is like the general message.
I know.
It's like it's an interesting choice.
It is a bizarre choice, and also a bizarre, I don't know. As much as I love Creed, like, kind of bizarre band to represent the fucking like, on the world stage.
But they were so huge then.
I know.
Like, they were like maybe the biggest like new-ish rock act in the country.
Yeah.
At that time.
It's just crazy. How do you come back from that? Like, that's the biggest stage ever, maybe.
You do the Cowboys halftime show on Thanksgiving Day.
It's true. Honestly, probably a ton of viewership.
Yep.
So, do you want to talk about the lyrics next or the music video next? Because that's where a lot of the next facts are.
We can talk about the video if you want.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So, when I rewatched this, my first thought, you're not much of a gamer, but my first thought was, well, this looks like a PS1, maybe PS2 era cutscene.
Yes.
And then the first fact that I found about the music video was it was developed by Visionscape Interactive, a.k.a. the team behind Twisted Metal 4, a very prominent video game franchise.
Which...
That was on the PS1.
Yeah. Okay.
End of the PS1's life cycle, as I remember. So I was like, okay, yeah, that adds up.
Yeah.
The cost of the music video was over $473,000.
God.
15 employees are apparently working on it for over 18 hours a day. Some of the next stuff does get into the meaning, but I think we all kind of know what the meaning of this is about, so I'm just going to dive in. So the imagery in the video, which, to recap quickly if you haven't seen it, it's basically like Scott is a PS2 character, and he has wings.
Yep.
And he's flying around a lot with a sword.
He's super buff.
He's super buff, naturally. And he's like killing all these weird bad guys. First it's like ninja guys
it's like with giant spiders.
Yeah. Then eventually it's like robot giant spiders with weird faces. And then eventually his other bandmates join him to take on the extra, essentially the boss. And it's just like him battling a lot of people. Apparently the choreography was partly inspired by a lot of martial arts movies like Crouching Tiger and a few others, which I guess.
Yeah, that's a little deep. Deep. If you haven't seen the music video, go watch it.
It's like a fever dream. Like I can't properly give it its justice.
Here's my thing with it. Like it doesn't maybe it's kind of the point. It doesn't really like go with the song. It's just like it's
too slow.
You could take any like first player video game, or I guess it's not really represented as first player, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
you could take any video game where it involves a hero fighting demons or armies or monsters or other humans to get to a final boss and run it underneath the song and achieve kind of the same effect.
Yeah, like the movement I feel like is too slow and clunky, such that like the music doesn't fit over top of it.
Yeah.
But if you took like a Dragon Ball Z fight scene, which is like hyper fast, it would work way better.
Yeah.
So it is kind of jarring in that way.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, it is meant to reflect the way the band dealt with criticism.
Killing people?
Yeah. Okay. Including the bullets Stapp is peppered with by demons meant to symbolize negative comments from critics and journalists directed at the band. Tremonti's character was given a battle axe to represent his guitar, while Phillips was given 2 swords with the designs of the swords inspired by his tattoos to represent his drumsticks. And then my last fact is originally Scott's character design looked a little bit more like a futuristic archangel, but they changed it to look more like the wings to look more like an eagle to reference Scott's Cherokee roots, which apparently Scott has. He's got some indigenous people of the Americas in him.
Man, they really thought about this
Yeah.
video. I mean, I kind of appreciate it, I guess, but like...
But you're also like, okay.
Like, you guys spent $500,000 on this.
There's like so many better things that you could do with $500,000.
Yeah. Give it to me.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll buy like a new studio.
Yeah. Please.
But yeah, overall, my thoughts on the music video are this is like very representative of the time. So I like it in that way.
It is a, if you were alive then and playing video games, even if you weren't, if you go watch it, it is like a time capsule of,
for sure,
like PS1 era graphics.
Have you seen the Californication music video? Probably came out like a year before, and it's like the same fucking thing.
I'm sure that I have, but I'm struggling to remember it right now.
And I remember I was a big Chili Peppers fan as a kid, still am, but like when that music video came out, I loved video games as well, and I was like, this is the coolest thing. But in that one, it's like essentially there's like a character select screen of like all the members of the band, and then and then you play as them, and they're kind of like going through California doing different things in their PS1 graphics. So this kind of feels like a giant ripoff of that, and I'm just putting that together.
Maybe it was.
Yeah.
Maybe Creed saw the Californication video and was like, we can do it better.
We can do it better.
Someone give Scott angel wings.
Let's get $473,000 and get someone to design spider robots. And
spider robots and angel wings. And make sure that Tremonti's soul patch is represented well.
Give him a battle axe to represent a guitar.
Give him a battle axe.
So yeah, that's the music video. Any other thoughts on that before we dive into the lyrics?
No, like I said, the music video it was fun to watch because of like flashing back to that era of graphics. But like other than like the general theme, it feels like they made it. The people that made it weren't listening to the song at all as they were making it. They were told like, here's what the song is about, and they just treated it like a separate project, and they just overlaid them.
Yeah, and I think they're kind of probably bound by the limitations of like the technology at the time. Like I said, with the movement speed, I mean, they could have sped it up, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can absolutely speed it up. Just play it like certain parts of it just twice as fast.
Yeah, it really doesn't look good. We should make our own.
Okay.
They should remake this with like in like Unreal Engine 4 and make this look just unbelievable.
Dude, we could do it.
I'm not good enough.
We could AI. We could make a new.
I can barely edit this podcast.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
We'll hire TaskRabbit to do it. All right.
No, nothing else on the video for me. It's weird and
it's very
unnecessary.
Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, but it is. It's like I feel like it's also representative of that time of just like, it's just kind of an indulgence of like, do we need a music video? Because like everyone made videos for every single because people watched music videos.
Yeah.
It's like
the good old days.
Just to drop like $500,000, $1 million on a animated video that doesn't really like make a difference in how people are consuming the song is really odd.
Yeah, it's also like funny that I don't know. It's not like the biggest single off this album, but it's obviously like the most memorable music video off the album. Because like I don't remember what One Last Breath is, or I kind of know what the My Sacrifice one is, but like. This one is the one that sticks out. For a song that's not as good.
I guess there's something to be said for that.
Yeah. Got to make your mark somehow, dude. Not in your pants.
Whoa.
All right, let's dive into the lyrics. And I think we can kind of breeze through these since we already sort of know what the song's about. But I'll read the little intro thing where it kind of more sounds like. But what he's actually saying here is. Walking around, I hear the sounds of the earth seeking relief. I'm trying to find a reason to live, but the mindless clutter my path. Oh, these thorns in my side. Oh, these thorns in my side. Stop there.
Yeah, like I said, this song is, I think, relatively straightforward, actually. I think he's just saying, like, the world is in distress. Scott is in distress. Like, he's clearly been beaten down by something that's made him weary, which we already know. It's like the criticisms and the target that was on the band's back and people, whatever it was, making fun of them, coming at them, all just criticizing them. I think the mindless clutter my path is seeing people who don't really think or understand the world are everywhere. Little NPCs running around. Yeah.
Nice video games.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the thorns just like is just symbolic of persecution and pain, betrayal by the world.
What do you think earth seeking relief means? That's kind of the only part I don't understand.
I think he's saying that like just the whole world is like out of balance. That like I don't know. That one is a little weird, but I just took it to mean like the world is in distress, and then he says I'm trying to find a reason to live. I think he's just saying like things are bad, I am bad, and then here I go.
Yeah, I think he's saying that like he's going about his life trying to find like his greater purpose, but like in his way are people being assholes. You know, like
people being mean to him.
Yeah, and that's keeping him from finding his own fulfillment. Earth seeking relief, I guess, just means like sounds. I think it just means like that one is hard. The sounds of earth seeking relief. I guess it just means like he hears the cry of the earth, like having to deal with like fuckers on the planet that are being assholes.
That's what I think.
Yeah, one I think is a little confusing. I know I have something free. I have something so alive. I think they shoot because they want it.
Yeah, I think he's, in spite of the way he's feeling and how chaotic or shitty the world is, I think he knows deep down he's got the secret sauce. He's got motherfucking
ketchup and mayonnaise.
Yeah. Yep. He's got ketchup and mayonnaise in his pocket.
Secret sauce.
I think it's a secret sauce, like a different way of being and living that other people can see, and they're envious of him, so they're persecuting him. You know, and I think between the thorns and the threat of death with like the bullet part of it, which obviously is, I don't think anybody was actually trying to murder him at this point. But
as far as we know,
the metaphorical
Luigi Mangione
thorns,
wasn't around at the time.
He was he wasn't.
No.
Well, he might have been a little baby.
He could have been a assassin baby, a baby assassin.
But the between the thorns and like the killing, this also plays into like the God Jesus complex of like Jesus wore a crown of thorns when he was killed and persecuted by people because they hated him, envious of him, whatever. And I think like this is another point where Scott's kind of putting that out there.
Yeah.
Somewhat subtly.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's saying, in a way, it's like a reassurance to himself that like has something to live for, and he has a son, and he's like, you know, he has good things going for him in life, and the critics are shooting they're haters. They hating because they ain't him, is what he's trying to get at, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And they
exactly
that in that way.
It kind of feels like a little Aaron Rodgers-y to me. Like,
what do you mean?
He's like, they just talk about me because like they don't really get me. So,
yeah, that's such an interesting way to look at things because sometimes it can be true.
Yeah,
but if like most people who say that that's like their blanket response to stuff. So it's like, no, like there's actually a valid. You should listen. Like,
yeah.
But like, no, they're just talking. People just like to talk about.
Yeah, it's like they ignore what they put out and only realize what they take in.
Yeah.
You know, or what people are saying. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers drives me nuts.
Aaron Rodgers, if you want to come on the podcast, we'd have you.
I'd have you though, yeah.
That's cool. I want to talk about Creed.
Let's jump into the first verse.
Okay.
I feel forces all around me. Come on, raise your head. Those who hide behind the shadows live with all that's dead.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, he feels evil, darkness in the world. I think the "come on, raise your head" is he's just kind of saying like if you don't look up and pay attention, you won't notice it. But like it's there.
I disagree.
Okay, fine.
I think I feel forces all around me are like the
Special forces.
Yeah, like a SWAT team.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the critics and the people judging him, and he's saying like, "Come on out, raise your head, show yourself. Like, don't talk behind my back, talk at my face."
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, your explanation makes a lot of sense. Like mine was just he feels evil darkness. People are too self-involved, like to notice it. So you have to like, if you look up, you'll see it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that makes sense too.
And then like people who choose to live in the darkness might as well already be dead.
Yeah, I think it's essentially saying that like those who, don't confront those that they talk about, but just kind of like, hide behind their keyboards, as it were, are essentially just like not even like living life. They're as good as like a dead person.
Man, what a almost 25-year-old insight this was, because like there's never been more keyboard warriors than there are now.
Yeah, like you.
Like, what am I? Thank you.
You're a keyboard warrior.
I'm a fucking warrior, dude.
Yeah.
Like, but on like Twitter, like there's obviously pre any kind of social media.
Yeah.
So like that's a kind of a fun call out, because
you ever just like think that people aren't meant to live in like a connected world the way that we do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not.
You don't need to know the opinions of all these like fuckers around the world that don't know you.
No.
You're supposed to live in like a little community.
We don't. And like it fucks with people's, I'm like he was finding it fucks with people's like mental health.
This is before we were even that connected.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole other podcast. Look at me, look at me, look at me. I don't think he's saying like, Dad, I'm on the pony. Look at me. At least,
I'm a big boy.
At least look at me when you shoot me. God damn, man, I suck. At least look at me when you shoot a bullet through my head.
Yeah, I mean, clearly just a metaphor saying if you're gonna talk shit / fuck someone over, at least do it the right way. Like,
yeah, talk to me about it.
Yeah, like shoot me in the chest, not the back.
Right.
Essentially, like have the decency to give someone a little bit of dignity if you're gonna screw them over.
Yeah,
or fuck with them or talk shit about them, whatever.
And there's also sort of an allusion to that. Maybe we'll talk about more, but just the fact that like you can't like just assume all these things about me, like by criticizing me and assuming all these things about me, you're not giving me the time of day to like tell you the truth.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. Like,
so by not looking at me, you're like making shit up.
Yep.
Okay. Verse 2. In my lifetime, when I'm disgraced, jealousy and lies, I laugh aloud because my life has gotten inside someone else's mind. So I'm going to jump in here and just say this whole verse to me is just him saying, "You mad, bro? You mad, bro?"
Yeah. I kind of agree. I think it's like, I think it's a little bit, even like bravado, even though he's like, and defensive of like, my note was like how he's living his life is so impactful that other people are thinking about it and talking about it. Yeah. And like that's jealousy what makes them lies. Like jealous, because he's so awesome. Yeah. And he's like, he laughs at them because he knows that he's like pissed somebody else off, and he lives in their brain rent free. Like he's proud of that. Yeah. It is. It's like the last line could just, instead of has gotten inside someone else's mind, just say like rent free, bro. Yeah. You mad, bro? Rent free, bro. But like clearly he is a little mad because he wrote the song. Well, yeah, he took the energy to write a very angry, aggressive song. And make a $500,000 music video about it. Yes. What do you think about the "in my lifetime when I'm disgraced" line? I think he's saying that like just in the living of his life, when people like try to disgrace him by making these accusations or making tabloids and stuff. Okay, so not him feeling disgraced, but other people disgracing him. Yeah, right? Just because of the next line saying jealousy and lies makes you feel like the disgrace isn't real. That's what I thought too. I have just like people are targeting him to bring him down out of jealousy and envy. He's learned not to take it as seriously. Yeah, just write songs about it and spend millions of dollars. Yeah, but make millions of dollars too. Also, yeah, true. Yeah. Got to spend money to make money. Also perform it at the Olympics so the whole world can see. I want to go watch that. Yeah, we should. That's crazy. Okay, and finally we have the bridge.
Hey, all I want is what's real. Something I touch and can feel. I'll hold it close and never let it go. Said why? Why do we live this life? With all the hate inside. I'll give it away because I don't want it no more. Please help me find a place, somewhere far away. Yes, I'll go and you'll never see me again.
Yeah, I think he knows most people are fake. Most things in this world aren't genuine. And he wants that real human experience that I assume at this point in like their fame, he was kind of losing sight of, because anyone new into your life after you get that level of fame is like kind of not real.
Looking for something.
Can you trust them? Yeah. What do they want from you? Like, your circle is
great
small.
to meet you. Will you listen to my LP?
Yeah. But I think he dealt with so many like fake people and clingers and hangers on and users at that point that he's like, yeah, I want something real human experience. He hasn't had that in so long. It's much more valuable now. And then what's the point of living if you're going to waste it being angry at shit all the time? I think he's kind of like processing the hate. Although, do you think that line is, he's saying, why do we live this life with all this hate inside? Is he talking about his critics or himself there?
I think he's talking about his critics.
I do too.
I just think it's like, why can't you just enjoy something for what it is rather than like live in a way that you're trying to like exploit somebody and talk shit about them? Like, you're living with hate rather than living with love.
Yeah, I agree. So then moving into I'll give it away because I don't want it no more, that part. I think he's just saying, I'm choosing to let go of any hate that he's holding on to. He's just kind of over it. Somewhere far away. Please help me find a place somewhere far away. Yes, I'll go. You'll never see me again. And he's like looking for an escape from this aspect of music.
Do you think it's like a threat? Like, if you keep talking shit about me, like, I'll just stop playing. You'll never see me again.
I didn't read it that way.
Okay.
I didn't hear it that way. I heard it as just of like that's how I will find peace. Mm-hmm. But it could be. I could see how it could be taken like that. I just think that that line. My note on that was, he doesn't care if he's a part of this world or society anymore because of all the negativity. It's like, it feels like just like a resignation of like, not like saying, I'm going to deprive you of my art. Just like, I don't want to do this. Like, it's not fun for me when it's like this.
Yeah, I think maybe he's saying like, help me find a place where I can live, like a mental space where he can live without being in the public eye or like caring about what the public think, so that he can like continue doing what he's doing, but in a way where like people won't talk about him and criticize him. So he's just like, he'll keep doing his thing and live his life, but not be in such a way that people will like see him and criticize him.
How naive.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You're in the spotlight, bruh.
Yeah, especially
you just gotta take it.
Especially with Twitter, dude.
Like, you know how much hate we get?
Lots.
We get so much hate.
From those fucking keyboard warriors.
People always think Andrew's on drugs.
Who says I'm not? I told you about my Advil Tums addiction.
That's true.
Yeah.
Dude, you can't combine Advil and Tums.
Yeah, it's too late.
It's essentially meth, the way they chemically react.
Especially when you mix them together.
Yeah.
Cocktail.
Yeah. You're unhealthy.
All right, dude, let's get into a little bit of the meaning from the man himself. Jumping now to Sinner's Creed, the book about the man himself. He says, outside of myself, I didn't know who I was fighting. I clearly felt that I was under attack, that I was dodging bullets. He talks about a VH1 Behind the Music special that really wasn't about Creed, but about Scott, and was an inaccurate retelling of his life that didn't resemble his reality.
That's too bad. I really loved those. I used to love VH1
Behind the Music.
So it's not true?
I think some of it was true, but like, it's supposed to be about Creed and it's just all about Scott. And he felt like weird that it wasn't about his band, but it was just about him and trying to like explore the reason for his music and the reason for him doing things the way he does them, rather than being like, this is how we're a band.
I get that sentiment, but like, people, they're going to make shows that people will watch. And like, if you're the guy standing downstage with the microphone, holding his arms out like Jesus on a cross, and is the main person in all of your music video, like, the show's going to be mostly about you. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, they're not going to do, there wouldn't be a VH1 behind the music about Aerosmith.
And about the bassist.
Right. It's going to be 90% about Steven Tyler and his life. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, that's a little thin skinned for me. Sorry.
Well, I also think it was also about, like, that he felt it was an inaccurate representation of his growing up and who he is.
That's fair. I understand that. But.
And then other, so, I mean, in the book, it really just talks about, again, kind of what we already discussed about the critics. And feels like he's dodging bullets with all the negativity that comes their way just from being famous and from being in the spotlight. And then that's kind of all it talked about in Sinner's Creed, kind of what we already know. I think, like, even before I dove into this song, I kind of knew what the song was about, just from the song itself and just from the general, how it lives in the internet and the zeitgeist. Like, I feel like it's very well known that this is about his relationship with the media.
Some people think it's about 9/11 because coincidentally it came out just a couple months after 9/11.
You really want to put that out there?
I mean, I think
I'll give you a chance to retract that.
I think you have to look at it through the lens of 9/11.
Okay, he's not retracting it.
I think the song was sung by the Twin Towers, talking about dodging bullets, which represent planes.
Remember how you talked about, like, you have nothing to cancel you?
Yeah.
Just found it.
Darn it.
Yeah. In addition, I also looked at what other people on the internet thought this song was about.
From songmeanings.net?
Yeah, obviously. Also, there's like so many comments on that, and it's just people fighting with each other.
I love that.
And it's like really hilarious.
I love that.
I didn't write any of them down because I was focused on the meaning of the song and not like this beef between random internet people. But a lot of people also think, aside from just the media, that this song is about Creed's beef with Fred Durst. Have you heard about this? You seeing this?
I mean, I vaguely remember that, but like lots of people were beefing with Fred Durst at that time. Eminem was beefing with Fred Durst.
Yeah, that's true. But there's like so I looked more into it, and here's how it went down.
I'll let you go. I think I know though. Like they were on the same bill.
Yeah.
Someone like refused to come out or something.
Sort of. Okay. So like they were at a festival. I think it was like a K-Rock music festival in 2000, and obviously Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit were on the bill, and Creed were on the bill, and then apparently like Fred Durst and the band was like an hour late to their set. And Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots
rest in peace.
Was like the voice of reason, being like, you guys don't need this shit. Like, you paid for this shit. You came out here. You took a day off work. You shouldn't have to wait for the band to be here. So then Fred Durst is late. And I guess when they get on stage, Fred's like, fuck that guy, Scott Stapp. And he's just like, fuck Creed, those fuckers.
Wait. Why was he say... I thought it was Scott Weiland that...
Scott Weiland did say that, but it wasn't addressed to Scott Weiland. It's about Scott Stapp.
Okay.
And then later he's like, yo, they suck. They got egomaniac. Like, I hope you all have pillows for when they come out.
That's pretty good Fred Durst impression.
Thanks, man.
Limp Bizkit era Fred Durst impression.
And then later they went on some MTV show. I don't think it was with Carson Daly, but essentially Fred was saying, like, yeah, that guy's like an egomaniac. We were backstage, and like everyone's like, they're like, don't talk to the band. You can't talk to the band. They basically said that they thought their farts didn't stink.
Yeah.
And then I also saw an interview with Scott at some other thing, and Scott was like, I want to fight him in the ring. He won't do it, but I'm gonna kick his ass.
Why didn't they ever do it?
I don't know. They didn't. He wanted to box him, and the interviewer was like, do you box? He's like, no, but I know I could kick his ass.
Wasn't that like in the general era of like celebrity boxing matches? Don't you remember those?
Yeah,
like
I remember celebrity
early and
deathmatch.
mid 2000s.
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about real live boxing matches, but I think those were inspired by the celebrity deathmatch cartoons.
I don't really remember any of them actually.
Dude,
it's like Logan Paul.
Before then, it was like
Yeah.
Tanya Harding fought. So like
what?
It was actual like kind of like lower level celebrities that agreed to fight.
Interesting.
Like in real life. I'd have to look up who the matches were, but I'm surprised they didn't do it.
No, that'd have been great. But apparently Scott's like, yeah, Fred won't do it. So that was kind of the extent of their beef, really. It was just like Fred thought they were like too good for themselves. Like he puts himself out as like this Jesus guy, but he's like a fucking asshole. And Scott was like, this guy's an asshole. He like whines and complains when they're like, and they're an hour late to their shows. And so
that's why we never got the
collab,
Limp Bizkit Creed collab
Maybe
that we
it'll
all
happen.
wanted.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let bygones be bygones.
Come on.
Let's make some music.
And I think there's probably more to the beef too. Like I feel like I remember Creed wrote them a letter or something. I don't know. It's really funny, but it's just people think there's a belief that maybe there's some elements of the song are about Fred Durst and like putting your money where your mouth is, essentially.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Two great butt rock bands.
I wonder if if they ever made up.
I feel like they may have. We should look into it. Get them both on the pod. If not, we should be the ones that let them make up.
On the pod?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be fine. We can broker a peace deal here.
That'd be sick.
I unite the nations.
Of Limp Bizkit and Creed. Mm-hmm. Limp Creed.
Because I love Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, they have some fun songs.
Dude, I'm sorry. Like, Break Stuff has been.
I mean, Break Stuff's like their best song.
Has been like the first song on my like workout playlist forever.
Yeah, and Rollin' was my intro.
What about Nookie?
Nookie was a little bit before my time. My brother had that album though.
Okay, yeah, you're younger than me.
But yeah, I mean, Break Stuff's probably their best song.
They also have a really great cover of Faith. You
Yeah.
heard that cover? Oh, dude, yeah.
What about Behind Blue Eyes? Have you heard that one?
No.
Oh, it's pretty bad.
You're not selling it.
The
cover of Faith.
I didn't say I was going to sell it.
Faith is awesome.
I got to listen to it. Like George Michael's Faith?
Yes. Because you got to have faith.
He's like, you got to have faith.
Basically, yeah.
I'm pretty good at that.
It's. We'll listen to it when we stop recording.
Okay.
It's really good.
All right, Reid. Well, we're winding down with this. So let's get to your final thoughts on Bullets. And why don't you rate it for us out of 5 years?
Okay. Yeah, not my favorite song in the world, but again, like I'm like recontextualizing everything. And the fact that like Human Clay saw Creed become like international superstars. I think My Own Prison, they were on the map like somewhat, but with Human Clay, like they were in the stratosphere.
Right.
So like, how do you follow that up? Like what's the first song on your next album that you want people to hear? And then like just how hard the guitar goes. Like that's my favorite part of the song is the intro. Because overall, even though it was a single, it is not my favorite single on the album, not even my second favorite single on the album. It wasn't a song that I like burned out playing a whole bunch. Like if it like came on or like maybe I popped the CD in, like I would listen to the beginning of it. I'm going to give it 2.5 yes.
Okay, right in the middle.
2.5, yeah. Because like it's the hard guitar, like I love that. I think like the message is cool. It's just like not my favorite song.
That's fair. I think I'm kind of in lockstep with you. I do feel like this song is pretty popular amongst fans. Like I think a lot of people love this one, but
it's more popular than I thought it was.
Yeah.
I think.
But for me, I really enjoy the Creed songs that have like those intricate riffs and like a really thoughtful melody and maybe some explosive lyrics and during the chorus. But this one, I just, the reverb at the beginning I find weird, and like the verses where he's kind of like half singing, I always just felt, it always sounded kind of like whiny to me.
Yeah. And
not in a way that I'm like, I want to listen to this. And then the chorus obviously goes hard, but it's not like in a way that like I want to like sing along with it or in a way that's catchy. It's just sort of, it rocks hard, but like it doesn't stick in my brain as one that I want to listen to. It's definitely not like an earworm like a lot of their other songs are, even their harder songs.
I think that's a good way to put it. Is it's not as catchy as some of the other ones.
It's not catchy at all.
Like it doesn't hook in your head.
No. Yeah. And I think some people might appreciate that. And I don't think that's necessarily like you need that to be a good song, but maybe I'm just I'm just like a basic bitch.
You are a basic bitch, dude.
Yeah, I think so.
Bitch.
I think my favorite part of the song is the
end
bridge, where those like kind of epic synths come in and make it feel really epic, and it's like building and building and building. That part's rad. But I just don't think it stays in my head the same way as the bigger songs on this album, and some of even the smaller songs. I will get into it, obviously, as the weeks go on, but there's some really hidden gems on this album, I think, more than any other album.
Yeah.
So in the end, I think I'm also going to give it 2.5.
Wow,
I'm going to copy you.
You're a basic bitch
I know.
copycat.
I get why it was a single, and I think the message is cool. I do like that it's kind of a reprieve from a lot of the spiritual stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with God,
real, dude.
but like
Jeez.
Sometimes it's different, and I like that it's about something very tangible and real to the singer.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2.5. Yes.
Do you think they thought this song was going to be bigger than it ended up being?
I think maybe.
I do too. Like, you put it first on an album that's like following up your first, like, I think Human Clay was platinum, I assume.
I think so.
Following up a massively commercially successful album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that too. I kind of feel like they thought it was going to be
like a what if.
Whatever. Not if it charted well.
Yeah.
I didn't even really remember. Like, that surprised me.
Yeah, I think it wasn't as probably successful as I thought it would be. I think it was pretty bold to release it as the second single. Like, I know like Weathered was a single on it, and it was, I think, the last one, but I think that song's better than this. And it would have charted better. But what the hell do I know?
We don't know much, man.
Yeah. But in the end, people like it. Good for them. You want to argue about it? Go. There's a great forum on songmeanings.com where you can argue with 23-year-old comments. People get really heated. But Reid, unless you got anything else to say, I think it's time we make our escape.
Let's go there to YouTube to rewatch the music video.
Oh, for sure.
One more fucking
and the
time.
opening ceremony. For my own podcast, I'm Andrew Colin.
I'm Reid Fenlaw.
Bye.
See ya.